Jayy Wick has been arrested and charged with attempted murder, and everyone thought this must be a self-defense situation. Someone probably ran up on him and tried him thinking shit was sweet. Well, new details are stating that apparently Jayy Wick allegedly shot his own homie. May 6th, 2026, Bay County sheriffs would take to Instagram.
I hope not, because he's just coming up. That pork chop sandwich. I just downloaded another one of his songs the other day. Man. So he really is about that. Word.
Of all places, to announce the arrest of 26-year-old Donald Anderson, aka Jayy Wick.
Yo, Panama City, Florida, April 25th, I will be at Vibes. I'm bringing the whole gang with me. I got Well Global, GD Glock, Speedball, so I'm bringing the whole crew with me. We're gonna put on a show, 229 weekend. All my folk gonna be there. Grab your folks, y'all folk, pop out, let's do it.
He with this lady? Who this lady he was with? Her too? What? This is man, his peoples? This is peoples? Who these peoples?
Your truck out here?
Now the post itself would read, Atlanta artist arrested for Bay County beach shooting. If you think you can come to Bay County, commit violent crimes, and walk away, you're wrong. Well, technically they're wrong, because he didn't just clap some shit, he performed that same night and then went all the way back to Atlanta.
An Atlanta rapper who was visiting Panama City Beach for a performance was arrested on a charge of attempted first-degree murder.
Bay County Sheriff Tommy Ford says 26-year-old Donald Anderson, also known as Jayy Wick, shot an 18-year-old the night of April 25th.
Your channel, Jayy Wick performed at Vibes nightclub, according to Bay County Sheriff Tommy Ford. But Ford says before he got on stage, he was right here at Beach Access 83, where at around 11 p.m., he shot an 18-year-old male multiple times and then fled the scene.
Quick pause, because this might actually help you out. If you've ever needed access to your money before payday, there's a banking app called Current that lets you get up to $750 as a paycheck advance once you qualify. So, and for helping people like you stay more on top of their finances. 26-year-old Donald Anderson, also known as Jayy Wick, has been arrested and charged with attempted first-degree murder after shooting an 18-year-old multiple times at Beach Access 83 on April 25th. After opening fire, Anderson fled the scene and continued his night as if nothing happened. That is a true professional. I respect the hustle. Clap somebody at 11, go to work by midnight. That is a man of his word. He was booked and he showed up. But our investigators didn't stop. They tracked him across state lines to the Atlanta area, where working alongside federal and local partners, he was taken into custody. A firearm was recovered at the time of his arrest. Let this be clear, it does not matter who you are, where you're from, or why you're here. If you come to Bay County and commit violent crimes, we will find you. You will be arrested. And you will be held accountable. Now, they didn't really give any details in that Instagram post. They just tried to make Jayy Wick sound like John Wick. So let's break down the details you may not know from the information that's publicly available. Jayy Wick was scheduled to perform at Club Vibes in Panama City Beach for his birthday weekend. So the Georgia artist traveled his way down to Florida's Panhandle. Now, for those not familiar with Florida, when you think of Florida, you think of like the gold teeth, the wicks. That style is more so coming from areas like Miami, Broward, Palm Beach, Tampa, Orlando, Fort Myers. That's the Florida people think of, right? So Florida's kind of like split in half. The other half is like the country. You know what I mean? Like, even the white guys in Florida, they'll kind of sound hood, you know, more urban, cultured. But once you go past Central Florida, they start talking like this, boy. They start, where are you from, boy? You ain't from around. Like, it gets a whole, it's a lot of people joke around saying North Florida is basically South Georgia. Now you do have Jacksonville, which has its own drill scene that everybody knows about. And then you have Tallahassee, where obviously T-Pain came out of, Boston Richie came out of. But other than that, there really ain't shit up there. Specific area of Panama City that's called the Panhandle. You know what I mean? And the Panhandle is notoriously known for some of the most violent prisons in the state of Florida. And that just isn't a reflection of the inmates, but the staff as well. A lot of those small country ass towns, the prison is the main income. So when you get to that prison, the warden's wife is the head nurse, and then her son is the captain. His brother is the sergeant, and then the sergeant's best friend from high school is the
sergeant
officer. So if you fuck with one of them, you fuck with all of them. The reason I'm telling you this is because Bay County sheriffs police their county the same way as the prisons. Panama City Beach has been a spring break spot for decades, and while they like their money, they do not tolerate tourists or bullshit. April 25th at 11 p.m., sheriffs responded to reports of gunshots at a house party. Arriving on scene, they'd find an 18-year-old victim who'd been shot multiple times, laying by himself on a sidewalk. The group he'd been with was down the street at a rental property, and with the police presence, many potential witnesses began fleeing the scene, and some were even hiding in closets within the rental, attempting to avoid officers. The Bay County Sheriff's captain stated the victim and Jayy Wick knew each other, were staying at the same place, and they'd even traveled together from Georgia. So this is interesting. They came together from Georgia. This gotta be one of his homies, somebody he's really familiar with. And he ended up clapping the shit out of him, shot him multiple times, allegedly. But it's like,
allegedly, it couldn't have been that close. He shot him.
For what? What would have led up to something like that? Because when we all heard the story, that didn't come to mind. We're thinking somebody must have ran up on him and tried playing with him. You know what I'm saying? If he's got jewelry, maybe they tried him for that. But nah, this was his own homie. Even the Bay County Sheriff would react to the news.
It's disturbing that you could shoot somebody and to the point that they were almost dead, they were in critical condition and still not in very good condition, and then go on to perform like that.
Now, after Jayy Wick performed at the club, he's said to have went back to Georgia, and a team of 3 investigators were sent after him, interviewing witnesses and collecting surveillance in Georgia. U.S. Marshals, Atlanta PD, and Clayton County PD would work with Bay County in locating Jayy Wick, finding him at a mall, and placing him under arrest. And they would note at the time of his arrest, he was armed with a gun.
Oh, wow.
Investigators would also speak with the victim in the hospital, who was apparently fully cooperating against Jayy Wick. Not only would he identify Wick as the one who shot him, he'd say he came with him as part of his security team to provide protection. Now, when he got shot, he said Wick walked down to the beach with a female, so he followed behind to protect him. And when Wick was walking back, he asked him, "You straight?" To which Wick replied, "Yeah," before opening fire without any argument or physical.
Nah, that ain't, well, he must have hit some coke, some crack, or something. If you brung this boy to be your security, and then all you asked him was he good, and then he just shot you, there's something wrong with this man, if that's how that went down. Which I don't believe, but there's something wrong with him.
Altercation. The victim also told police he had a gun with him, but he didn't have it on him when he was shot, and officers would find a Glock on the scene.
So how are you gonna protect him if he was to happen? Ain't you? If you came for security, why you didn't have your gun, brother? But that's crazy. And what you was doing with that female? Oh, he got a whole girlfriend.
As well as spent shell casings. Come to find out, this was Jayy Wick's rental, and one of his security would drag the victim to the sidewalk prior to police arriving. To be completely honest, this story doesn't make sense.
It don't.
For him to just walk up randomly and start shooting you,
right? That's
something isn't adding up
at all,
right? Not only that, what's gonna hurt Jayy Wick in this case? He fled the scene.
Right, why you
So he didn't stay
What's
on the
going
scene, which is what you're supposed to do legally if it's a stand your ground situation. But what's gonna hurt him the most is he hasn't given his side of the story. The only side of the story that's been heard is the victims and the witnesses. And the victim is flat out saying, I didn't argue with him. I didn't, there was nothing leading up to this. There was no physical altercation. He just pulled out and shot me and tried to kill me. If Jayy Wick is thinking from the perspective of, oh, I gotta save my career, I can't say nothing because all these other rappers done got exposed and I can't have that. It's, I'm not solidified yet in the game. I can't do a Young Thug where he already got all these hit songs and everybody just bypasses the interrogation. Jayy Wick can't have that type of shit come out right now. It's gonna fuck his whole career up. So if he's thinking he's just gonna play the silent game, that's gonna hurt him. He is gonna have to have an excuse as to why he stood his ground.
But I don't understand that, because if he had a reason for shooting him, he can't even say that either. That's still snitching. That's crazy. I can be a street person. I'm gonna tell you what happened from the beginning, the middle, and the end. Cause what?
In the state of Florida. Now, according to reports, Jayy Wick is facing up to life in prison for attempted murder with a minimum mandatory 25 years. The complete opposite of what you want to hear when you're a rising rapper who's just starting to go viral. Currently held in the Clayton County Jail, Jayy will be getting sent to Florida within the next 10 days to face a judge. With the surprising news he allegedly shot one of his own people, his off the porch interview is looking even more suspect, as those around him don't seem to be too happy, and the comments would be telling him to get far away from them. And shit, we don't even know if who got shot is sitting on that porch with him. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you, this is just the reality of these things. When you see rappers have these huge entourages, they're probably really close friends with like 2 or 3 of them. Everyone else is just there for the image. Like, yeah, bring more people, because this is how things work in public. It can be you and your 2 toughest homies, and all 3 of y'all tough as hell, and you might even have guns too, right? But if there's like 10 goofy motherfuckers, they'll still try you because there's 10 of them. And in their mind, 10 outweighs 3. Even though the 3 of y'all could possibly beat the brakes off them, if all 10 of them got guns, even though they soft, it still kind of favors their way and they'll still try you. So a lot of these rappers will bring 30 people with them just because there's power in numbers. People are gonna look and like, yeah, we're not trying 30 people, bro. Like, we're not even gonna get to who we want to get at. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, when I say he popped his own homie, just take that with a grain of salt, because we don't know how close he was to this kid. This kid's 18.
Right.
He probably just brought him because he's a young gun. Like, yeah, you want to stand around here with a gun and just come to all my shit and that's it? You're going to sleep on the couch or something in my B&B? Fuck it. You know what I mean? So we don't know what the relationship was. This kid could have tried to pull some slimy shit, tried to snake him.
Never know.
And then when he gets shot, he fucking just folds and completely rats, and he's like, oh no, this is what happened. I didn't do anything. I'm the victim in this situation. We don't know because the information has not yet been released. And like I said, the biggest aspect of this is gonna be his defense. How he tries to defend himself in this situation. I believe he was about to fucking perform at Rolling Loud too, which is supposed to be in Orlando, and that just got fucked because YoungBoy just decided that he's not even gonna perform.
Sometimes life can really surprise you.
It's not dope if he don't want to perform.
This is not what you want as a rising rapper. You do not want to catch an attempted murder charge. He's not a felon, so I don't think he has to worry about the gun or anything like that. There's just a lot missing from this situation. It's very difficult to piece together a conclusion when we don't know exactly what went on. And I don't know why the police are trying to paint this like, oh look, we're this big bad county, you come over here and do something, we're frying you. y'all don't really know what the fuck happened either.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't just immediately be like, yeah, we're gonna make an example out of this motherfucker. And sadly, that's what they're doing. They plastered him all over social media. They posted the pictures of him in the back of the vehicle, whatever. They want to make an example out of him.
But why?
And that's gonna fuck him up badly, because when you have a judicial system that's set on making examples so people, as in tourists, don't visit that specific place and think that they can fuck off, that puts you in a worse situation. And they even came out and said, yeah, we've been having a lot of problems with the same club he performed at. It's an urban club. Why do you think? When they talk like this here, digga, you know what I'm saying? They don't want urban clubs and rappers coming down. Nah, so the second something pops off, they're gonna take you, they're gonna make a public example out of that ass, and it ain't gonna end well. Florida does have 10-20 life. I don't know why exactly he would have a 25 minimum mandatory sentence and up to life. And just to break that down, what that is saying is, if he gets sentenced to the minimum, the bare minimum, it would be 25 years to the door. No early release, no gain time, no, the whole 25. If he gets 30, he has to complete 25 before he can start getting early release time off of the additional 5, leaving 30. You understand what I'm saying? Florida is strict. Like, the laws down here, it's not as sweet as people think. Like, don't look at Kodak Black beating all his cases and think that that's you, because you don't have the money to afford the lawyer that he got. The normal motherfuckers down here get bammed and put away forever. Like, you got first time offenders that get fried with a 20 piece. So it's like, this could be a career ending situation. Hopefully it's not. If he gets bond, he'll be able to move around.
I hope not. I hope. You know, fingers crossed. I like dude.
And still stack up his money, you know what I mean? And hopefully that's what happens, and they move his whatever to fucking Georgia, because Georgia's right there, so they could literally like transfer the home probation or the home bond, whatever, because you know they're gonna monitor him. They could transfer that to whatever county he's actually from, so he doesn't have to like live in Panama City until the case is figured out. But I don't know if he can get a bond for that shit. We'll just have to wait and see. Let me know y'all's thoughts and comments in the comment section. It's 1090 Jake. I'm rocking with y'all, and y'all rocking with me. Till next time.
That's crazy. But shout out to Jayy. I hope, you know, you have a good, or either somewhat good explanation. But man, I like him, so, you know, free Jayy.